questions or comments, there's no right or wrong. But you may have some thoughts you want to share with everybody. And I would encourage you this. If you have like a hard question, don't hold back. Thank you. Because I've been doing this full time for over 20 years. We've been highly successful. We made a lot of mistakes. I think we've probably made almost every mistake there is to be made. So my job here is not to sell you or convince you, it's to serve you. And if I can shed some light on something that you're thinking is up for you, I'd love to do that. And if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to try to bamboozle you. I'll just say I don't know. So if you have a question or a comment, love to take it.
What's the best way to tell between a legitimate network marketing business and a so-called pyramid scheme?
Okay. Does anybody have that thought about pyramid schemes? Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question. Let me talk about these economic transitions. Now, did anybody ever hear of something called the Luddites? Okay. In England, during the Industrial Revolution, right, they were coming out of the feudal system, agricultural-based economy, and they moved into a factory system. There was this group called Luddites. They were named after, I think it was Ned Ludd, L-U-D-D. And he started a movement in rural England because they put in a factory that spun wool. Now you probably remember these old pictures of the spinning wheels, and people still do this, hand spinning wool. But with the steam engine or water wheel, they could actually have these big machines that would spin like massive amounts of wool with just a few people instead of the individual. And they thought this was the devil's work. And no disrespect to their religion, but it was probably more economic. Like all of a sudden all these wool crofters were being put out of business, or not necessarily put out of business, but the factory could sell the same wool or actually a better quality wool for cheaper than they could. So they went in and actually smashed the factories. They burned them down. And it became a mass movement, not huge mass, and it was called the Luddite Revolution. Happened in England. Look it up in a history book. You see, it was a classic example of technology moving forward and people not wanting to change. But do we still predominantly spin wool by hand? Well, some people do. But this wool jacket I'm wearing came from, I'm sure nobody spun it by hand. Okay? And a lot of other technology. So what happens is during these times of economic transition, people actually go into a reactionary mode, right? And they try to put their fears onto the object instead of saying, okay, what do I need to do? Maybe I need to either become a quality wool spinner and market myself as handmade, or go learn the factory system, but burning down the factory. Anybody hear of Uber or Airbnb? These are new information age technologies. Let me explain what they are briefly. So Uber, if you ever take a taxi, and maybe you don't take many taxis, but if you ever need a lift, you could call a cab, and all that's involved in that, or you could just simply go on your phone and push a few buttons, and a private person will show up and carry you where you want to go for about half the cost, and usually a cleaner car. Now, what's not to like about that? However, governments are banning Uber. Uber is the largest transportation cab company in the world. They don't own one cab. They've created employment for people like us. If you have a car and you have some free time, you can be one of the people that shows up and picks them up, and then you get paid. Pretty cool. But they're trying to ban that. Another one called Airbnb. If you ever travel and you don't want to pay hotel rates, you go on here and you find Airbnb, which is somebody who has a spare room in their house, and they'll let it to you for a fraction of what the hotel does. Boom, boom, boom. And that's being banned. These are examples of thinking that's not keeping up with the times. I can guarantee you Uber will be around a lot longer than the cab company. Just guarantee you that. So the point about network marketing is back in the 50s, like I was telling you about when these guys started the industry, they got some bad press. But who do you think that press came from? Was it from the happy people like you and I who were suddenly able to work in our homes and on our schedule, talking to our friends and make a living? Were we complaining? No. Was it the customer who was getting a better product at a better price, fresh from the factory? No. Who was complaining? Who do you think was complaining, right? Probably the media, because we didn't spend 1 penny of advertising. Probably the old distribution systems. And remember I told you franchising and department stores were almost made illegal? Those same people. Now, put that aside. That's just background. How do you tell a legitimate network marketing company from a pyramid scheme? Very simple. A legitimate network marketing company has a real product at a real price that real people really want. Now let me unpack that for you. I could actually, and there are companies that do this, I shouldn't call them companies, there are scams out there, and I urge you to beware. They are illegal and they're unethical, and if I wouldn't do this, but if I ever did it and brought my friends in, I would probably be shamed for my friends, because they'd end up losing money because they're a ripoff. They're illegal. What do they look like? Well, it might, and I'm making this up, but it might look like, you guys see this glass? This is a very, very, very special glass. And you know what? If you were to buy this glass for $200, you have the right to turn around and sell the same glass to your friends for $200, and you could keep $190 of it. How cool is that? Well, clearly it's not a real product at a real price that real people really want. It's a fake product, and you're just taking money from people, and the last guy in who can't sell this 25-cent glass for $200 is going to lose all their money. That is illegal. Now, let me shift over to a legitimate opportunity. If I have, say, a nutritional product that is cheaper than what you can get in the store, way better, and you take it and you feel good, and you want more, not because there's money attached, but because you just want that product, that's a real product at a real price that a real person really wants. And in most legitimate network marketing businesses, guess what? 70 to 80% of the people who buy the products just buy the products. They're what we call customers. They may not even know there's a business opportunity associated with it. That is a real business. It's a different way of getting it from the factory to the person. And all we're doing is cutting out all those middlemen and taking a slice of that and giving it to the people who do the introduction. Okay, that's how you tell legitimate business. Now, let me also add, there are many, many, many types of network marketing businesses. There's fuel additives, there's women's lingerie, there's wine, there's chocolate, there's coffee, there's women's apparel, there's jewelry, there's nutritional supplements, there's pet food, the list goes on and on. And they're all legitimate, factory direct to the customer. All we're doing is what this Airbnb is doing. And Uber, they're cutting out the cab companies. You're getting the same ride in a better car for half the price. Cool, huh? Network marketing, getting a better product at a cheaper price delivered to your door. Pretty cool. So that's how you tell, Forrest. Thank you for that question. Remember, real product, real price, real people really want. And that's legitimate. And it's protected by law. It's in all the countries on the planet, I think, without exception. There's 200 million people doing it, and we've been doing it for 50 years. So it's a big part of the economy. It's been endorsed by people like Bill Clinton, Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump. I mean, big names, big people endorse it. So it's not, don't confuse the two. There are scams out there, and if listen, do yourself a favor. If anybody approaches you with that, say, hey, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I have not seen those turn out well. I mean, probably a few people at the top make all the money. They do okay, but everybody else, it's not good. So thanks. That's a great question. Anybody else? Any questions or comments or anything you might want to know? Yes, please.
You said you've been doing this for 20 years?
20 years full time.
So have you been selling the same product?
I've been doing it for 20 years. Have I been selling the same products, representing the same company?
Yeah.
No, but almost. That may sound strange, but let me explain. So my story, about 20, 23, 24 years, I don't know how many years, it's been a while. I was with some friends, I was in America, and I was getting ready to go on a camping trip with some international visitors. And we went to this little park on the way, just headed out to one of these big national monuments, gorgeous place. And there was a guy with a booth. And, excuse me.
It's a stool.
A guy with a stole. And he was selling these nutritional products. And I liked the look of it. And I said, yeah, I'll have some. He's putting them, we're swapping money in products. And he says, by the way, there's a business attached to it if you ever want to get your products free or partially paid for. I said, yeah, I don't care about that. Just give me the stuff. Took the stuff, went camping, took it. I felt great. I felt I was less tired. It's like somebody lifted my mental fog. I was sleeping better, waking up better. My mood improved, which everybody around me loved. And, it felt good. So I ran out, and then, the bottle was empty, and I said, I called him up, I want more. And I said, what was that you told me about getting them for free? Because I like free. Right? Anybody not like free? And he said, well, let me explain it to you, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I got involved with that company. In about a year and a half, I was making a full-time income. Now, that company had some challenges, and we separated our ways. And then I found the company that I was with for 15 years. I was with one company for 15 years. And there, my partner and I made over $10 million. And that was all profit. So we were able to vastly improve our quality of our life. We started a charitable foundation, a public charity, which we've given an enormous amount of money, some of which is working here in this area. We were able to travel. We were able to make a huge difference in the quality of life for our family and our community. And so we've been very blessed. Now, probably not everybody wants to do that. And certainly most people don't do that. But we approach it with great passion. This is my life's work. This is what I do. So I love doing this. Now, just recently I moved to another company, and that's a small story. But the point is that it is important to work with a group of people, a team, a company. And there's a book which you may have heard of. It's called 3 Feet from the Gold. And there was a famous person around Napoleon Hill back in the last century. And he built this gold mine with his partner. And they tunneled way down deep and hard rock, hard work. And they sold the gold mine. They said, nah, we'll sell it. And of course, the guy who bought it came along and went a meter or two and hit the gold, right? The point of the story is that in these companies, it's not get rich quick. Look, if anybody tells you it's get rich quick, it's like a lottery, that's not exactly the truth. That does happen for people. It does. But it's about the same odds as winning the lottery. It can happen, but it's not a strategy. The strategy is, it is a get rich quicker plan than the 40-40-40 plan. Okay? There is gold in that mine, but you have to stay at it long enough to get to it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you are in life and you want to learn something new, you want to learn to be a plumber or a fisherman, professional fisherman, or a landscape architect, or whatever, you've got to apprentice. You've got to learn that craft, don't you? I mean, you might get lucky, you might not, but you've got to trade, university, whatever. And that generally takes about 10,000 hours to get mastery, at least a low level of mastery. Now, 10,000 hours is about 4 years if you work 40 hours a week, 2,000 hours a year, something like that. In network marketing, there is also an apprentice. The difference here is, unlike university, where you're paying to go to school for 4 years, and then you start at the bottom of the ladder if there's a job, here you start making money from day one. We help you earn while you learn. We provide all the training. You see, we don't look for your work history. You might have been a mom who has been in the house, being a householder for 10 years, no recent work history. You might have retired. You might be of an age where you can't get a job. You might have an employment blemish or a credit blemish or some other kind of blemish. Nobody wants to hire you. We don't check. That's not what's important here. Your background, your ethnicity, your gender, your language, none of that matters here. What matters is you have a desire, you have a dream. And number two is you're willing to work for it. Now, what I know about most people is they are willing to work, especially for their dream. That's the important thing. If you have a dream and you're willing to work for it, you can have it. And this is the vehicle to do it. So here's the thing. Does it happen overnight? No. Sometimes, if you're lucky, maybe. But I don't want to encourage you to think that. I want to encourage you to think of an investment in a profession. See, when I joined network marketing, it took a while, but I said, this is my work. This is my profession. People ask me what I do. I say, I'm a professional network marketer. I don't say, well, you know, I do this and I kind of do this on the side. Now, not everybody has that luxury, but here's the challenge for you. Let's say you are currently working on cars. You're a mechanic. And by the way, I was a professional mechanic for a number of years. You know what I hated about it? Everything. I hated people complaining that it didn't cost them what it cost them to fix their car. They didn't have the money, but I didn't make the prices. I hated getting my knuckles all skinned up and getting greasy axle grease in the cuts. I hated being an undercar and having the junk drip in my face. I hated all of it. And I enjoy working on cars, but not as a profession. But let's say you're a car mechanic, and this is no disrespect to you if you're a car mechanic. But stand there and go, okay, let me fast forward 5 years, 10 years. Do I still want to be doing this? Or do I want financial freedom, lifestyle freedom, making a difference, live my dream? Oh, I'll choose that. Okay, so you're here. You got 5 years ahead of this. You got 5 years ahead of this. Gently start to pull more time out of this and more energy out of this and invest it here. Almost everybody starts part-time and builds it into full-time. So that's the proper way to approach this, is to think, yes, I'm going to do this the rest of my life, or I'm going to do this as long as I want. And I'm going to start taking time and investing it here, because I'm spending time here. See, I'm wage slaving. They got me. I'm renting myself cheap here. And there's no way out of that except death. Here, I'm building my business. I own this business. And you know what? When death comes to me, I'm going to leave it to my children or my charity, because they don't stop sending me those bank deposits when I die. You get that? You want a legacy for your family, your children? You build this business and it can go on hundreds of years. Your grandchildren can enjoy this income that you're working on today. You show me a job where you can do that. I don't see them. Matter of fact, they'll use you up, I shouldn't get passionate, and spit you out on the other side. And it's not that they're evil. Look, it's not that. It's just the nature of the system. It's not people hard-hearted. It's the system. And that system's going away. Look, the job didn't exist a couple of hundred years ago. Before the industrial, there was no such thing as a job. Everybody lived on the farm and you worked on the farm, and everybody had a job, but it wasn't a job. And a job is going away. That 40, you go to school, get a job, and retire, that's not happening. And that's not coming back. That's gone. The future looks different. So getting involved in this and investing in your business. And here's another thing for those of you that have families or want to have families. What a joy it would be to own your own business and have it be a family business. Have your children involved if they choose as they grow up. Get the relatives that you like involved. Get the friends that you like involved. The people that you respect and want to spend more time with. And the people that you want to grow wealthy together with. You know, think about this. Nobody gets wealthy here unless they help lots of other people get wealthy. It doesn't work like I can make a lot of money and you don't make any. That's not how it works. Remember I said it was a cooperative business model? You can't do it alone. It doesn't work like that. It's a network. If you make the good money here, if you make $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month here, it's because you've helped a lot of people make $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 a month. You can make the $10,000. You can't do it without helping a lot of people make money. So you can get more free with your friends. So pick the people you want to get free with. See the old model? I could get wealthy, but I have to leave a lot of people behind because they couldn't keep up. You know, suddenly you get a lot of money and you move to a new neighborhood and you're traveling and they're stuck in their JOB, the journey of the broke. They're stuck in that thing. They don't have time or money to go do the stuff you want to do. But with this, they can come along if you're generous enough to invite them. And the good news is you don't have to invite anybody you don't want to work with. You can just pick and choose, which is why I like it so much. My very best friends in the world are involved with me on a daily basis in this business, and we have a great time together. It's a creative business. Like if you ever have a spark of joy and passion and creativity, this is the place where you get paid to bring it on. That's what you get paid for. We don't tell you, look, you should look like this or dress like this or act like this. As a matter of fact, we tell you, don't dress like we do, don't act like we do, because that's not going to give you success. What will give you success is you being you. If you're a passionate person or a loving person or a creative person or a hardworking, you do more of that and you'll find success here. We don't imitate others. We bring out in you what your gift is. And that's our job, see. We're part of the give back. You see, one of the beautiful things about this industry, no matter what company you choose, is you will have high quality, high accomplishment people investing in your business. Now let me give you the impact of that statement. You go start a shop, you go start a franchise, you go start some kind of business, you know what you got to do? You got to go employ people, don't you? And what are you going to employ? Probably, because you don't have a lot of money, you're going to get the least expensive you can. But even if you have a lot of money, you're going to get employees. Now, what is an employee after? Well, typically, they want to work as little as possible for the biggest wage as possible, right? That's their game. What's the employer's game? I want you to work as hard as possible and give you as little as possible. Isn't that the game? That is like this. There's a fundamental tension in that model. There's no joy there. There can be, but there's no true joy there. Now compare that with this. You start a business here, day one, you've got $1 million earners working in your business to help you succeed for free. Think about that for a minute. You have $1 million people working in your business for free to help you succeed. Why? Well, one, because they're good people, but two, because the only way I can get more successful is helping you get successful. If I help you build a $5,000 income, that means that I go to 10. Woo! Let me get to work. Unlike the employee who's going to be looking at the clock saying, how soon can I get out of here? Maybe I'll take a few pencils home with me, or whatever employees do. The kids need pencils. No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. I've been an employee. I understand that dynamic. I've also been an employer, and I'll never do that again. You know why? Because their personal problems become my problems. They have a fight with their wife. They don't show up for work. That's my problem. Here it doesn't work like that. This is a volunteer army. We're all volunteers. We all do what we want to do as we want to do. We have to learn new dynamics, new ways to relate. You see the education you get here? You get a financial education. I used to lecture in economics at the university level at advanced degree programs. I can tell you those are expensive. And I can also tell you largely they're useless. No disrespect, but you can't apply that stuff here on the street. The financial education you will get here is priceless because it all applies to your life. It's life education you get. And whether you stay here or not, you will be able to apply it the rest of your life. Number one, financial education. Number two, relationship education. You're going to get emotional literacy. You're going to understand how people are, why they are, how to relate to them, how to be of service to people, how to inculcate and pull forth leadership, how to bring out the best in people, how to encourage them, how to acknowledge and reward them, how to receive acknowledgement, how to receive coaching, how to be a coach. Now, you don't get all that in the first 24 hours, but you do get that as you're ready for it. You also, depending upon the product line of the company you choose, can get an exquisite education in the products, whether it's services or goods, whatever company you're choosing. And more. There's much, much more. And none of it is charged to you. That's the education that I recommend to young people. Look, I'm a bit of an expert in that old system, and I say don't do that. I mean, yes, if you want to be a brain surgeon, go to medical school, or don't operate on me. There is a point for that. But the point is not to take our children out of this, oh, I'm graduating, I don't know what to do, I guess I'll go to the university for another 4 years and rack up debt and waste, How about no? How about just let's get started now? And when 4 years from now, when your peers are coming out, you will be set. You'll own your own business. You'll be a successful business person. You'll have learned all these things I pointed out. You'll have a real education that will apply going forward in this new economy and in your life. See, so that's the perspective I encourage you to start to adopt. To look at this in its wholeness. Remember I started out by saying wealth, true wealth. If you just look at a person's money and say, yeah, they're wealthy, you're missing the biggest part of it. I would encourage you to look at their relationships. Are they healthy, meaningful relationships? Are they loved and admired and respected? Or are they just tolerated? Right? Do they have health? Do they have physical health? Are they vibrant? Are they able to live their life in their body? And no disrespect to anybody that's had, things happen. But are they healthy? Are they happy? Can they smile? Are they stressed out? Are they truly just a mess mentally? Do they have passion and purpose in life? Are they up to something, or is their life over? Are they just waiting to die? And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. We all are where we are. But when we look at it in its fullness, when we look at a good life, a life well lived, a life that inspires others, this is what counts. And I got to say, I've studied this. I've made this my life's work. I have not found any other place on the planet that offers this. I have found no place. If I did, I would be standing there today. I wouldn't be standing here. So do your own due diligence, do your own investigation. If anything we've said here today encourages you, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, not to me, but make a commitment to yourself to investigate it. Investigate it. Do some due diligence. Get with the person who invited you to listen to this message and find out what is their vehicle. What's their commitment to you? Are they going to be there for you? Are they going to join you and help you build your business? Are they going to invest their precious time into helping you become successful? Make sure you're aligned with your company's products. Can you be a product of the product? Can you actually represent it wholly because you believe in it? Is that company, is that vehicle sound? Does it have the finances and the expertise and the management to be there for your children and your grandchildren? Right? And what's the culture of that company? Are they caring, sharing people? Are they the kind of people that you would have home for dinner? Are they the kind of people you would trust your children to? And if all that stacks up, then I'm going to encourage you to get started. Because again, when's the best time to plant that tree? Well, probably yesterday, but if you don't have yesterday to relive, then do it today. Because I can guarantee you one thing, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're just going to be 5 years older or 10 years older, and you'll have missed this opportunity. And I can almost guarantee you that 5 years from now, certainly 10 years from now, this economy you're living in will look radically different. And there will be losers, and there will be winners. And it's my deepest desire that you be a winner in this new economy.